No worries.
Hey guys, it's Robert Gardner with the Robert Gardner Wellness Podcast. Really happy to have John Adams with the Fix Therapy here live with us. And I wanted to go ahead and talk with John. John, can you introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, John Adams, like Robert here said, with the Fix Therapy, been a therapist for 20 years, specializing in helping people kind of just become aware of habitual habits they have within their body to create pain and discomfort in their lives and teach them how to move forward in new paradigms for that particular issues. I've been doing that for about 20 years, running a full practice, and now it's times are changing, and we're jumping on this webinar or podcast, I'm sorry, to talk further about how to make that shift and move and what we're doing to improve our clients' lives, our lives, and the industry.
So I think to start off, John, it's Easter Sunday. Happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter.
How's COVID settled in Florida? Like what happened to your business? What's going on?
Well, I mean, I've got my own personal conflicts with how it's happened here, but the thing is that it is what it is, and there's some frustrations with it and how our industry kind of played a role in here, and where I think I personally feel that we could have stepped up in a better way. But it's we went from about a month ago to it being the talk, actually more than that, but the talk in the office about what we're going to do, are you preparing for it, to then getting completely locked down and not being able to work on people at all. And now it's not just lockdown, but the panic of the community, everybody being stressed a little bit of what's going on, not knowing that this thing is, because you hear two sides, right? You hear no, you don't need to worry about it, it's not as bad as flu, and then you hear oh my gosh, this could really hurt, this could be no one's ever gone through this before. So it's all new to everyone, and how everybody needs to react is just taking it one step at a time, and not to stress out, not to freak out, not to panic, and to do what we should be doing. But yeah, I think my personal opinion, right, is that my practice is like a clinical. It's like, that's basically the image, if I could say, it's like a physical therapy meets chiropractic, is my clinic, right? Not to say that I'm doing that type of licensing, but nobody's getting undressed. It's very clinical, it's very medical. And in fact, for years, I've taught my clients that, this is what you should be doing to improve your immune system, to be healthy, to, I believe we should, there's a lot of chiropractors still working. There's still a lot of physical therapists still working. And I think for a long time as a clinical therapist, that's what we were trying to do, working towards doing, is putting ourselves at that same level as you can call us for those same particular issues and help them. But I think what happened, though, is that we have not branched off in the sense of this is a clinical office. We're still under the umbrella of regular massage, known as spa type of stuff. And I think that this may open a can of worms, but that's my personal opinion, is that we got bunched up in the same reason why I've been saying we need to kind of create these different tiers maybe in the industry, to where if you feel you're essential, you have the choice to stay open versus having to say, no, you got to shut down no matter what. I feel that at my office, it would have been just as safe as it would have going to a chiropractor or a physical therapist. And that's just my personal opinion, but also the views of the client, not understanding that, well, if they can be open, why can't you be open? And then having to explain to them that, well, there's an executive order. I mean, they took it, they understood, but it's still, for my whole practice was based on, you're not coming in for the get undressed spa stuff that's usually in the general public's mind of what we do as massage therapists. And Robert and I have been on a couple of these Zooms before where that's not my practice. It's not a spa, and it's similar to how his practice runs, as in you're not getting undressed. It's fully clothed. It's not the image of the word massage therapy. So that's kind of why, I'm really taking things a little more serious on my break, and I'm kind of hunkered down. I've enrolled into a doctorate program for holistic health. In fact, I'm helping not just getting my doctorate, but I'm getting to become also to introduce a lot of the practices that we do in our office with hyperbarics, the lights, the sauna, and our particular modalities to introduce into a college setting for it as well. So I'm going to also be a professor at or a teacher, instructor, however you want to say it, at the college as well. Mainly online for some of these courses. But, I think that's going to be my personally, I think I'm going to be doing more of a holistic type of approach versus just soft tissue.
Yeah. It's really hard to explain because there's a multifaceted, set of issues. The coronavirus represents something new that we've not dealt with. It sounds like the closest thing was 1918 with the Spanish flu, and now people are even more mobile. So, it just is what it is. Everybody's trying to do the best they can. I know that myself, because some of my business is online, I've been more busy almost than I was prior to this, just because all these backlogged online tasks and clerical tasks, I submitted 2 courses to the National Certification Board. I, had this backlog of stuff I could go through.
Right.
But the entire industry, it was like an atom bomb just dropped on the massage industry. Everything overnight just closes.
Yep.
Which nobody, of course, expected. I've talked to other educators, for instance, where they're not only, seeing clients, but they're dealing with education, and all the therapists cancel the class and then ask for a refund. And then they're like, oh my God, like they had to refund $6,000 worth of, class fees and, all the financial
headache
goes along with it. But I think that in the conversations we've had previously, what I want people who are listening to understand is, I think John's work is remarkably similar to what I do, but he did something interesting in the sense that he went the complete opposite direction with session duration and length. So what you're having them do is typically like a little shorter session, and then they're coming in more frequently, right?
Yeah. So a typical session at my office is on average anywhere from 40 to 20 minutes, depending on where they're at in their treatment plan. But yeah, I mean, depending on the client, of course, and what's going on. But yeah, we gear towards more of a shorter sessions to help that client. It's pretty phenomenal. Not saying it's the best. I just love the way we do it.
Yeah. No, it's got a different, the thing is, like, I wouldn't have you on if I didn't respect your work. And the thing is, I found it really interesting when we first talked because it's remarkably similar in some ways, but I went the opposite direction and said, no, I want to work on one person for 3 or 4 hours.
Right.
Massage therapists go, oh my God, that's crazy. Like nobody needs that much soft tissue work, or whatever. And it was just, I don't know, it was just a difference. It's like, I don't think that it's less effective the way you're doing it or the way I'm doing it is preferable. It almost just fit the way, I want it to work a bit more so. And then even when I teach students, it's more like I'm giving them a set of tools and saying, listen, this is how you can apply it on a table. This is how you can apply it on a mat. You want to do longer sessions, like whatever situation they're in. We're both in favor of therapists just having more tools, but I think you and I both expanded to the point where we actually started questioning what massage itself is. And we have a much clearer perspective of how the public looks at massage and body work, which unfortunately on a mass scale, we're still being confused with the sex trade in the sex industry.
Oh, it's very simple.
Yeah.
If you do not believe what we're talking about right here on this, it's real simple. Go on Google Images, type the word in massage. Does that represent your practice? If it does, then great. If it doesn't, then you're probably doing something more clinical, more sports oriented or something like that. But it most likely, I know if I type in the word Google, if I type it in You go to Google, and if you want to share it, you can share your page and show everybody this. But if you type in the word massage, ask yourself, does that represent your practice? And most of the time, when I do this for my class and students and stuff, it doesn't represent anything they do unless they own a spa.
Yeah.
Right. So that's just the way it is. I
For
mean, when
me,
you type in the word, what I like to say, muscular therapy or soft tissue therapy, then you're going to get a little closer to what the image. And I'm not talking about that I'm not a massage therapist. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the image of the public, how I market myself, is not congruent with the word massage. It's just, I don't even want my clients saying, hey, I had a great massage today.
yeah,
I want them to say, hey, I went and got some soft tissue therapy. You should go see this guy, or you should go see, or recommend the Fix. They do great muscular work or soft tissue manipulation. And I start educating the clients on how to, give that that referral to their friends and family, because most of the time, I'm sure you've heard, it's like, what is this? What do I do?
Yep.
How do I get somebody that needs I know you can help them. How do I get them in front of you? What do I say?
The way that I dealt with it in classes, the weirdest thing to me is the clients usually aren't the problem. The clients love what I do.
Right.
It's the therapists. The therapists in class are going, I don't understand. This isn't massage. And I go, great. So we don't need massage licenses. I can teach anybody I want, and we can scale it to the yoga community globally. And they're like, oh, shit. And I go, listen, like I understand the law in Texas. Each state has different laws. Right. So for instance, just so, people listening right now understand, because, there are people from the public as well, not just therapists. Right. I can't go to Florida and just go give a massage. I can't go do a session.
Right. Like I can't go to Texas and I've got to apply by the rules. Right.
Different laws, different rules. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it could be part of the issue of why we don't have particular standards within our industry nationwide. We still have, I think, a couple states that you could just wake up tomorrow and get a certificate and start doing it, which is same as if I wanted to go be a personal trainer. I don't need a license. I don't need a certificate. In fact, I don't need anything but the will to go do it. There's nothing by the law saying I have to have this education to teach you how to work out. You should.
Well, the biggest thing before the pandemic hit, the biggest issue thing that I was talking about was Stretch Lab and Stretch Zone.
Yeah, that's what
Stretch Lab and Stretch Zone are remarkably similar to what I offer in many ways. It's not exactly the same, but it's similar.
Yeah.
I just kept going, I kept dragging massage therapists like, come on guys, there's this real estate. You don't understand. Like clients want this. And they're like, no, my clients want massage. And I'm like, ooh, wow, do we have a difference of opinion? And Stretch Lab and Stretch Zone just boomed on the scene because they're a corporate entity. They have more financial backing. They're franchising. And then they're hiring personal trainers, yoga teachers, and people to do what essentially I think is soft tissue work. So.
Right. The question is that legal or not? And then what? And then again, if they are legally allowed to do that, then what is massage? If that's not massage, if you can take a muscle beyond its origin of surgeons and stretch it, then what are we doing? What is the true definition? And I know here it's in the statutes 480, it's soft tissue manipulation. But if stretching not soft tissue manipulation, I don't know. I mean, it's like, why is this such a gray area? It's either yes, you need a license, or you don't. It shouldn't be a gray area, but it is. I mean, it's happening.
But the thing is, the reason it's a gray area is because of the definition. In my opinion, based on what I've seen legally, I'm not a lawyer, don't consult me for legal advice.
Right.
Manipulation of soft tissue is not defined in any way, shape, or form. They've laid it out like it's succinct. But the thing is, what they're doing is policing the word massage. When you remove the word massage and call it something else, like I get this constantly. I get yoga teachers, Pilates instructors, people contact me, or they contact me even from other countries. And I go, listen, just follow the rules in your area because I teach online. I had somebody subscribe recently from Lithuania. I don't know what the law is in Lithuania. Just follow the rules in your area.
Listen, if you have I've called the board. And from what I'm understanding from the response I got, I'm a CEU provider here in Florida. I'm CE broker. And I called Florida board and said, listen, I've got some yoga instructors. I've got people who want to take the course. I'm teaching a stretching course, and they want to get a certification in this particular modality. And basically the response was, we don't regulate certificates. Certificates have it means nothing to the state of Florida. We do not regulate it. It is not in our zone. You can teach whoever whatever you want. If you give them a certificate, it's not regulated.
Yeah.
It's basically it's Wild West in a sense that they trust you to teach them because of your expertise. You give them the certification of what you deem is necessary in your class. They go take it and they put it on their wall, or they say, now I'm educated. But there's no one saying you can or cannot do whatever it is in certificates. There's no regulations at all. Meaning, what I'm saying about personal training earlier was that you don't have to be, you should be. You should be educated in this. And that's the argument is that, can I go take a weekend course and now get a certification and stretch people? Is that right or wrong? Or should you be licensed? Now, and at the same time, it's happening.
Yeah.
It even happened at our national convention here in Florida, where there's a personal training giving CEU license, CEU credit to stretch people that are in their licensed massage therapists.
Yeah.
And that's okay there. If it's okay there at the board, so then why can't I open my books up and not just be a CEU provider and certification? And my particular, if you look just at my treatments, if you just walked and observed, it may look just like a stretch zone.
Yeah.
So can I just open my, does it allow me to go beyond massage and start teaching personal trainers that want to educate their clients further?
There's a complete difference between giving a service and charging for it, teaching and charging for it. And then it's like, listen, if it's not massage, and it's what I keep telling students when they talk to me about it and they're asking all these legal questions, I go, one, I'm not a lawyer. I have a lawyer, I consult him, he charges $300 an hour. I ask very terse questions. What it means is you have to be mindful of what you're doing and what you're calling it. And it's like, who's going to go after Stretch Lab and Stretch Zone? Well, nobody, because there's no license needed. It's like, if Stretch Lab and Stretch Zone can do it, I can do it. And that's the conversation I've been having for years, long before Stretch Lab and Stretch Zone came on the scene. I saw the real estate. I kept dragging massage therapists in, kicking and screaming, and they're like, no, my clients want massage. And I'm like, no, your clients want to get better.
Well, why is it booming? Because it's doing what we've always worked towards doing in the industry, and that is getting more people on the table. If we got enough if therapists were to represent themselves like a Stretch Zone or myself or yourself, you would break down the barriers of what we talked about earlier. Does the word massage in the images on Google, which is basically the images of the general public? I'm not saying that's 100% true, but I'm just going off of that, right? You type that in, you're only getting a small group of the community or the country or whatever. But if you, like for me, I just tell you, I dropped the word massage out of my practice. I do soft tissue manipulation. I do muscular therapy. I do not say I do massage. Like it or not, not a big deal to me. But for me, since I've done that 12, 13, 14 years, I've been doing therapy 20 years, but maybe 12, 13 years ago, I dropped that word. And it allowed me to be able to go, hey, I do soft tissue manipulation. They go, whoa, what's that? I need that. Oh, I do muscular therapy. Oh, what's that? I need that. And it allowed me to not have this, well, I do massage therapy, but I don't do the massage you think of. It's not the same as the one on a cruise ship. It's not the one you got on your birthday at the day spa. It's something different. And then have to backtrack and try to erase the images they have in their mind of what we do. It's all marketing. It's all neuro-linguistic programming. It's all how you kind of sell your own practice. It doesn't have to be soft tissue. It can be whatever it is that you represent, how you're representing yourself towards your clients, what your particular practice is like, or therapy center or wellness center or whatever. It's your image. And I believe that's what, Robert, you and myself are trying to teach or work towards teaching other therapists. Is not my terminology came from years of experience of getting no's before I got yeses.
Yeah.
You know, and then trying to make sure that I'm doing it the right way, right? Hopefully we're paving the way for the next generation of therapists to go, yeah, it's okay. You don't have to say I do massage therapy. You can say I do soft tissue therapy. That's okay.
I've had students in classes ask me, you know, I've talked about this, like, you made me look at the phrasing a little differently, like a soft tissue specialist. And I would ask students in class, can you call yourself a soft tissue specialist? And they just kind of like look at each other uncomfortably, and they're like, well, no, we do massage. We're only licensed to say it's massage. And I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. What you call what you do isn't the issue. It's what you're doing. Like if you're operating within the scope and practice of massage therapy, as long as you're not operating outside of that scope, you can call it underwater basket weaving.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we have done it. We've done it successfully. We've done, but no one's going against you're a myofascia therapy. You're a Ralpher. There's no difference. There's no difference in that. It's the same thing. It's just a different modality or different way of approaching your marketing. It's helping there. What we're getting to, I got a little off track there, is that because it's called stretch zone, not massage zone, and it's not just a new word or a way of working on people, but it's also something the general public's familiar with. Chiropractic, physical therapy. Most people have done that before they've done a massage. Usually we're on the kind of near the back of that, or we've kind of done it at their offices in physical therapy or chiropractic. And what I'm getting to is that in the eyes of the general public, they're kind of softly been, conditioned to go get treatments fully clothed, get worked on, and get good results, which is basically what I'm doing in the office. And it looks the same as if you were to see a chiropractor, physical therapist, or get stretched. You're just breaking that stereotype of the word massage. It doesn't always have to be undressed. It doesn't always, don't get me wrong, I do cupping. They'll have them undressed from the waist up. I'll have them, if I need to work on a particular area. But what happens though is they're comfortable then. They're not walking in the first session going, hey, how you doing? Oh, let's get naked.
Yeah.
It just is a very, I've gained that trust, that rapport. And most of my clients who walk in because they're still in pain, a lot of clients have they have MB or Hand and Stone memberships, or they have a regular therapist that comes to their home and do massage. And they don't drop their massage therapist or cancel their membership because they come see me for 40 minutes once or twice. It's just added to their wellness plan.
Yeah.
Most people who have massage, who regularly sees massage or clinical therapy, they don't not go to their chiropractor. They still go to their chiropractor and add this, or they still have their massage membership and then they come see me. What we've done here at the Fix, or what I've done for myself to represent what I do, is giving my ability to be totally separate and market myself as a brand new modality that everybody needs, right? So, and it doesn't have to be only this. This is the only thing that can help you, but it's just added as a synergistic effect of helping them, like their chiropractor, like their physical therapist, in a combination without it being one or the other, which is a beautiful thing. It took a long time to work that way. And I'm pretty proud of that, actually, because I feel like I can do what I'm doing, and it's not taking away from somebody who still just wants to do massage. because that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that's bad and you should only do clinical. There's a, working at a spa. I worked at spas. It just wasn't my feel for it. I didn't care for that particular type of therapy. But a lot of therapists do. So there's nothing wrong with that at all. And in fact, I think it's a great thing to be able to go get a relaxation massage. That's just not the style that we went for. And I proved that it's successful what we're doing in 40 minutes, 20 minutes, without hurting the massage industry, without hurting I would say, spa industry. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't feel an increasing sense of competition. I was running out on my own, just trying to forge my own thing through trial and error. And I just always kept going back to essentially chronic pain and mobility and wanting to address those two primary issues.
Right.
My sessions were also relaxing, but I never focus on the relaxation in my marketing because I feel like there's so much Swedish and deep tissue and focus on relaxation. I was more real focused on chronic pain. That was the real bread and butter. If you got
Right.
a problem, come see me. And for me in private practice, that worked just fine. I know that when I started working at a chiropractor's office 10 or more years ago, you could not sell Thai massage. It was impossible. What I had to do was I had to forge it into the session and then have them go, man,
what was that?
What was
Right.
that stretching thing you did? That was amazing. And I go, oh, yeah, next time you come in, wear some shorts like you're going to gym class or whatever, t-shirt.
We'll do more of that. Right.
I could do a little more. And then over time, 80% of my practice became just that at the chiropractor's office. The chiropractor really loved what I was doing, even though they were at first hesitant because they didn't know what it was. They didn't know how to package it or present it or whatever. And then everybody liked it because the therapists who wanted to do more relaxation services, who worked in the office, the chiropractor who wanted to help people with pain, they started referring people to me.
Right.
They're like, oh, you have a problem? Go see Robert. If you had a big burly guy, he was hard to adjust. He's like, Robert, these guys are like butter after they see you. They're so easy to adjust. And it's like, oh, cool. Because I'm being beneficial to them. I never felt like an antagonism, but the clients loved it. The therapists were the ones who but this isn't massage. And then if somebody was a yoga teacher and happened to take one of my classes, which is totally legal, by the way, the therapist would start to raise holy hell. Like, well, this is only for massage therapists. And I'm like, do you think so? Legally?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm conflicted. I don't know why that's such an issue. It's like, when you get into licensing and stuff like that and certificates and, I guess I'm kind of still like, I don't know if it's right or wrong, to teach somebody this, but I'm getting better at opening the doors to what I believe is what I'm working on is more of a subconscious holds and awareness into people versus a particular soft tissue movement. It's very simple. It's, are they aware they're holding that tension in that particular part of their body? Most people, if you ever watch the video, most people who come in who've never been worked on or who has never been taught this particular type of therapy, they have no clue that they're as tense as they actually are. And I'm sure when I say this, and if there's therapists out there listening, they know exactly what I'm saying, is that you can pick somebody's arm up and you say, relax, and it's being held straight up in the air by them, and you're going, hey, relax. Or you pick up their leg to stretch it or move it, and they're just kind of like this stiff board. And you just go, and we just kind of like, oh, just relax. Oh, you're so stiff. Let me push harder. And versus teaching them how to neurologically tell their own arm to relax. I mean, think about that. Other than getting worked on by a therapist, when's the last time your shoulder moved without you using muscles to move it? Think about how you tell your body, you tell all day, do this, do that, do this. When do you rarely say throughout the day, okay, do nothing. The command of doing nothing, it's the same as breathing, if you think about it that way. If you're not asking for a breath, you don't take deep breaths. you just go on this autopilot. Your body just kind of just does it for you. You don't have to think about breathing. But what we're seeing, and if you looked at Facebook at all, if you're in health, what's popular right now is breathing exercises. Breathing becomes this huge, everybody's doing certifications in breathing. Wim Hof method, all that stuff. Because breathing is a choice. Deep breathing. Taking a deep breath is the same as saying, hey, arm, relax. Hey, body, relax. Neurologically, we rarely do that. We rarely just stop and talk to ourselves in a way of helping ourselves. And it's basically just in a simple awareness and consciousness on being able to choose throughout the day. Am I tense? Am I relaxed? What am I doing? Why am I doing that? Where's it coming from? And it's the same choice as taking a deep breath. We're just installing that with our clients. If we can teach them to do that on a massive scale, we're going to make some massive movements in health and wellness.
Yeah.
And if somebody wants to learn that, I'm willing to teach them that.
Yep. So let me ask you this, being that, we're both educators, when you do have someone who's not a massage therapist in your class, you're teaching them in some form, fashion, do you find they're easier to teach or more challenging to teach?
I would say easier.
Yep, that's exactly what I find. That's
Or
exactly what I find.
open-minded.
Yep.
Not with the whole you can do and you can't do type of
Yep.
stuff. Well, that's allowed, that's not allowed.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say
Yep.
that.
The therapists, I talked to them about this. It's like they have a box that they're trained in. And I come in and I'm pushing the edges of that box in various ways. So when I teach a yoga teacher, the yoga teacher already knows how to feel with their legs and feet. They already know how to work on a mat and mobilize. They already know about articulating joints and mobility, even if it's in their own body. So it's like adding this additional service on top, whereas therapists, they're going, oh my God, this guy comes in and gets her to the table and has me keep the client's clothes on.
Oh.
He's questioning the entire paradigm that my practice is built on. And I go, yeah.
The thing is too, is, and I've brought in a lot of therapists that come straight out of school and they come into our office and it's like, forget everything you just learned. We're doing something totally different.
Yep.
And most of them, when they do come through and they stick around, and they go, wow, this is exactly why I went to school.
Yep.
Went to school to do this type of therapy. This is what I thought it was like, and then it kind of turned into something totally different.
Yeah.
And
school's the basics.
It truly is. It's
School
true.
is the basics.
I believe what I'm working towards is a bigger education in the sense of beyond basics, beyond just here's what you need to move on, but here's what you need to survive and be successful as a entrepreneur in the industry. If you want to, basically not just learn how to do it safely, but how to do it successfully. There's a difference in that aspect of what we're teaching in schools. So here's what you can do. Here's what I'm going to give you because the law tells me I have to give you this. But here's what I'm going to do to get you to graduate and be successful and bring others in because of how successful and create a tribe around it versus, I went to school there, got my license, now I'm moving on to better my life.
The biggest thing that happened for me was online education. Online education, because we went from like workbooks to DVDs to subscription service, and then now we're getting to like interactive online classes.
Yeah.
And the more I keep doing that, I'm not tied to geography, which means I'm not tied. Somebody in, what place was it? There was some island off the coast of Madagascar where somebody wrote me. I forget the name of the country, but I had to go look it up on Google Maps because I didn't know where it was. And they were on this tiny island off the coast of Madagascar. And you just realize you're selling stuff on the internet. Like, you're not tied to geography. I don't know what the rules are in Istanbul. I don't know what the rules are, in Saudi Arabia. Like, just follow the law in your country and let's keep teaching. And then I talk to therapists and they have this weird antagonism because they're almost like afraid I'm going to start selling information to the yoga community. And I'm like, yeah, I have every interest in selling information to whoever wants it.
That's
Like if
right.
I was teaching the same stuff to couples so they can work on each other in the middle of a global pandemic, and I go live and I say, hey, John, Sarah, listen, I'm going to show you how to work on each other. Nobody has a problem with that. So why do I want to restrict, especially when my subscription service is free for their first month? It's like, it doesn't make any legal or logical sense. You know, it's like, follow the laws in your area. I don't want to coach people on breaking laws, but at the same time, it's like right now we can't even provide the touch therapy that people.
Well, that's where I'm real frustrated with, and I think this is that pivot moment that we should have in the industry, or allow this to happen, or let it blossom into this. And that's, if you wanted to consider yourself essential, you probably should have.
Yeah.
Not to say, now I'm a massage therapist, got the same executive order as chiropractors, right? And physical therapists, but guess what? They're still working.
Yeah.
Right? Because not necessarily, not all of them, but I did see on the, their boards are basically saying, no, we consider you essential. Keep working. This doesn't apply to you. Now, what's that mean? Does that mean that we're not essential, or did our lawyers look at it totally different and go, well, yeah, you're probably not essential? Or did their lawyers and their lobbyists and backing go, no, executive order,
Well, the difference
we're good to
between
go. I have no
difference,
clue of this, but I'm just
yeah.
saying they're working. Now, scope of practice, not scope of practice. I'm talking about the fact that if they came into my office, I don't see more than 4 people at once, right? I have a hyperbaric chamber, I have an infrared sauna, I have light therapy, right? So at any given time, I can have 2 or 3 people all at once in the office. Never more than 10. I am just as safe as they would if they went to a chiropractor. The setting is the same in the sense of how it can be transmitted or given or not. And if I don't think that all people should be working, or in the sense that if I wanted to, I could practice. That's really what I'm getting to, in the sense that if they are allowed to do it and they can do it under 10 people in one office, and clients are still, or pay their patients are still coming in and they're still holding appointments, then if I just would have liked the ability to go, well, I can still do what I would have liked to and have the choice to. And why their boards saw the same executive orders we saw, and they got, and I don't know this answer. Maybe there is an answer for why they said they can work and we can't. I'm not too sure on that. I believe they got the same executive order we did. It just got read differently. Or
physical therapists and chiropractors have more money and better lobbyists.
I guess that's the truth.
Massage
they're working,
therapists,
we're not.
Massage therapists get the leftovers. After chiropractors and physical therapists scoop up what they want, they leave the rest to us. That's the way it feels to me legally.
That's the way it feels. I don't know. It's a big debate, but I don't mind trying to figure this out either, because it's about time that we stand up as an industry, or make a different change in the sense of what we've been talking about this whole time. And I think, because I feel like it has to do with the representation of the word massage, is why we are where we're at, versus what the quality and what we can do to help people. I believe we're at the same level or better, personally, even in our own scopes, right?
Yep.
But I believe that we got stuck under this image of, well, massage is undressing, luxury, and it's not necessary. You don't need to be doing it.
I mean, the way I describe it to students is the following. I feel like massage envy is like McDonald's, and McDonald's standardized hamburger, fry, and a drink, and eventually a drive-through or a playground. They standardized the hamburger, fry, and a drink experience. But what later happened was Wendy's, Whataburger, In-N-Out, Fuddruckers, artisanal, grass-fed, local, sugarcane syrup sodas. In other words, you could charge $20 for a burger, fry, and a drink. That's a very different practice than just serving a McDonald's level hamburger, fry, and a drink. There's room in the marketplace for diversification and specialization in niches. It's that the therapists themselves are their own worst enemy because they're being sort of programmed in school to think of it as a specific service. Whereas I keep going, what are the brands? What are the brands in the massage industry? Brands. And they go, well, Elements and Massage Envy. And I'm like, exactly. There's nothing. There's McDonald's, basically. There's not additional brands. And then I would go so far as to tell them that I'm like, what's a modality? And I'd be like, a modality is a failed brand. And they're like, ooh. Like they would look at that, languaging or semantics or jargon in a slightly different way. But is going to get a stretch, which I assume is what they call it at Stretch Zone. I'm going to get stretched. Is that a brand? Is Stretch Zone a brand? Stretch Lab a brand? And does that brand take over in the same way that we can go buy shoes anywhere, but why do people have a preference for Reebok, Nike, or Adidas? Brands. Brand is exceedingly important, and the therapists don't get it. And what's more, the successful ones say you don't. And the reason they don't get it is because they've been very successful at building personal brands.
Yeah. I mean, there is a difference in the sense of what, do you order your massage, or do you have your therapist tell you how to get work done? Like when you go in and there's a menu on the board, there's no really creativity to the sense of your client is ordering the session. I'll have a hot stone massage with a side of aromatherapy, and then our therapists come and service their order. That's a lot of what I think is I think our therapists, if they beyond, I think there's a lot of therapists that hear what I'm saying and understand that I mean no harm, and I'm not trying to say that I've worked in spas, I've done it, I don't think it's bad, and I think that if that's your niche, stay in it and run with it and love it. There's a lot of therapists that love that type of therapy. I believe there's a lot of therapists that don't. And I believe they're having the same frustrations I am, is that I feel like I'm getting, I feel like I'm getting stuck underneath that right now.
Yeah.
Where I'm being kind of held in that aspect because of this license. And I don't believe we should be. You see what I'm saying? Like it's, I believe therapists have the ability now to stand up and say, well, I believe we are essential and could work. Of course, you can't do that because of the executive order. I'm just talking right now. But it is a frustration within me, and what I've been working towards on helping the industry break out of the box of massage, the word massage, what it represents, what its image is, and that frankly, it is, what is it? Is it this? Is it that? What is it? What is? What,
I was a philosophy student. I was a philosophy student. I don't have any problem. It was like, well, what is Thai massage? That came up constantly because what you teach isn't traditional. And then it was like, well, let's go further. What is massage? And that makes everybody in class completely uncomfortable because they're not really prepared to look at the legal and existential ramifications or ethical ramifications of what comes out of that.
Yeah. I mean, we could probably argue this and come up with solutions all day, but what are you doing now to keep the clients that you would regularly see? How are you helping them through this crisis and epidemic?
Well, most of my clients work with me and I'm helping them with some level of pain stuff, but I'm already doing like self-care education with them when they're with me. So Frank, here's a tennis ball, here's a foam roller. I'm going to send you a link to a YouTube video. I haven't been very proactive at like reaching out to my clients as of late, just because I've been so busy teaching online. My business has kind of shifted more online in a way,
Right. Right.
or towards education generally, than it
Right.
was just towards clients as a revenue stream.
Right.
So one of my yoga students, for instance, she wrote me on Snapchat and she was like, "Oh, I miss yoga." And I was like, "Tony, my YouTube channel, I just recorded 7 hours worth of video that you can, follow along." And also part of the thing about having you on the podcast is I'm increasingly learning how to use tech and, software to be able to make a
Yeah.
podcast, teach people online, interact with them more.
Yeah.
My students, massage therapists primarily, I'm having to train them to learn online because that school box, they say, no, you can't learn hands-on technique online. And I go, you're wrong. You were so fundamentally wrong. I don't even think it's funny, but doesn't matter. I'm going to do it and I'm going to show you what can be done
Oh
because
yeah.
I tell people this all the time. I don't break the law, but I break the rules constantly. They think it's impossible. And I go, no, 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 no. The technology has evolved. I guarantee you, just as easy as I'm having a conversation with you right now, we could both be on a table and I could work and do what I was doing so you could see it and I could see what you were doing and go, hey, John, lean a bit more to the right. And we could do that one-on-one. And then when
Sure.
it comes to group dynamic, I mean, we were doing interactive live classes before the pandemic hit. People were
Sure.
calling or texting me while I was working on someone and said, hey, can I see this angle better? And the
Sure.
camera guy would just move the camera in so they could get a better view.
Sure.
That technology is not slowing down, it's ramping up. I'm just trying to harness it as fast as I can. And when it comes to working with individuals, increasingly what I was doing was instead of just having the yoga class, I record the yoga class so I can teach people elsewhere. So in
Yeah.
other words, don't just do it once, do it, use it as a recording to teach other people how to do it and continue that process. There's a
Yes.
pretty steep learning curve because I'm not a tech guy. I'm not a programmer. I'm getting more comfortable at reading FAQs and watching YouTube tutorials, but it's not my, in other words, I didn't become a body worker because I want to watch YouTube tutorials on Zoom conferences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you. I feel you. So what we've done to kind of pivot a little bit. I've been like I said 20 years in and developing kind of a method of working on people and helping them understand, and then working towards making that to helping other therapists do the same, with the concepts behind what we've been talking about all day, or this webinar. It has allowed me to spend more time like you're doing on tutorials. I've got a really awesome software on not just for myself, but helping other therapists get online, mentoring other therapists on how to get online, with this particular software we have that's really easy to build a website, a funnel, and to webinars, social media, to help them get to their clients. I'm doing Zoom meetings with clients. I'm teaching what I would teach without my hands. I mean, it's very simple in the sense of, um, when you teach awareness through the body, you're teaching. It is a little harder when the body's not there to teach them and them to feel it and learn it. But you have to position yourself and teach them as more of their life coach, um, how to move, how to function, how to um, see different views of this particular crisis that's going on,
Yeah.
and shift the mindset, where their mind's at, where their consciousness is. Coach your clients and get more online, which is nice. I think we all should be able to do this. I think it actually allows a lot of therapists to be more versatile and be more of what I was talking about earlier, of being a holistic therapist.
Yeah.
Holistically, saying, okay, well, what did you do today? Where are you going? What? Now I'm more part of not just show up for your 40-minute session and leave, but what's going on in your life? What's causing these particular issues? Diving a little deeper than just functional therapy or movement therapy, where it's not so technical, but more of a theoretical of saying, well, did you think about that stress when you went through? What are you doing when you're standing in line? Are you standing on your right foot or your left foot? Are you, getting a little more aware of what they're doing when they're out of the office? This allows therapists to teach beyond the table.
Yep.
I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yep.
And if more therapists would embrace it that way, and not just go, well, I can't touch people, so now I'm stuck.
There's
You
pieces
can help
of it.
people a lot more than just, they don't really just come for your hands.
Yeah.
Come for your knowledge. They come to because of who you are and how your heart wants to help them.
It doesn't make as much sense for me as an educator after I've had some practice at this. It doesn't make enough sense for me to talk to therapists in this mindset and try to convince them that they have psychological and emotional and intellectual limitations. They're not thinking about how their consciousness could be shifted. It makes much more sense for me to just go out and do it and keep doing it and build the podcast, the website, online training, infrastructure, interactive online classes, keep building. And then they go, oh.
Yeah, well,
it's
some
totally
are never going to get it.
When
some
they can
will,
touch it, when they can see it, when it's tangible, then something shifts and changes. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, at times like this, leaders will step up within the industries, and not just within the industries, but within your community. And it's those little micro cells grow into bigger cells, so forth and so on. And what we need to do is be there for our clients. This is what we, unfortunately, because of an executive order, but I may or may not agree with, we can't work, like it or not. I can bitch and complain all about it, but I'm not working. The day too. What kind of sucks is that somehow somebody called and booked online, have an online software, and it was at 4:00, and my first thoughts were like, because I was shut down for like a week, email everybody knew, and somehow I got a new intro in. I'm like, I wonder if that's a therapist trying to see if I'm working, which sucks, because I think, why should I think that? Because I saw a lot of feeds, a lot of on the forums in there that, hey, if you see a therapist working, here's a number to report them.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that is not, I don't like seeing that in our industry at all. That's some horrible stuff, even if you don't think it's right or wrong, but it was weird, because I had somebody book, I've never seen that person before. And, going to talk to them, I called them and kind of ironed it out. But my first gut feeling was, is this a therapist trying to book to see if I'm open and what would take the bait or something like that? That was my first instinct. And I was like, ooh, that's not good to think that way. And I shouldn't feel that way, through this time. But right now I'm doing my best to get more tutorials in on software, building this software platform, doing website for local businesses and therapists, helping them get online. And I'm also, as much as I possibly can, there for my clients, to help them get through this stress, this emotions, things that we worked on, things that they can do at home to become aware, to stretch, to move, to get stronger emotionally, physically, spiritually, and just be there for them. Not that we're super, super busy getting calls, but it's pretty steady. Just like any new thing you go into, it's going to be slow until you figure it out, And right now, I'm not just sitting around. I've done a lot of family time, a lot of bike riding and fishing and stuff like that, which is nice. But I'm always thinking of ways to, hey, this is what I wanted to do anyways. What's the next 20 years of my industry? We're wrapped around that table? No, I wanted to get into education. I wanted to teach. I wanted to expand my reach. I want to have multiple streams of income coming into my company versus just some therapy around a table.
Yeah.
So, that's where we're at right now. I'm selling hyperbaric chambers. I'm selling infrared saunas. I'm setting up clients' wellness homes. It's crazy. They come in the office, they use the lights, they use the sauna. I set them up on treatment plans, right? And now that they're not coming in and using it, they're like, oh man, I miss that sauna. I miss the lights. I'm like, well, you don't have to. I also sell these. I teach CEUs around them. You can set up wellness homes for your clients. Now they can have that product at your home. I've sold saunas to clients. I've sold light systems to clients. I've sold hyperbaric chambers to clients because they need, not they need, but they like that synergistic feeling. They don't have to leave their home to get a quality therapy session, and it's very, very powerful stuff. I mean, it's a phenomenal system, and now they don't even have to leave the comfort of their home.
Diversification. I don't try to push students to do just what I do. It's always trying to get them to do what they enjoy.
Sure.
Something I know that they'll put themselves into. I'm a big proponent of people having private practices so they can expand and do their own thing without like corporate oversight telling them how it should be. But I think, again, that McDonald's analogy, there's room in the marketplace for smaller brands that deliver a unique service that the big box chain stores are not. And that's what the challenge is getting the therapist to think outside of that primary education. Primary education, even school owners will tell you, it's the basics. It's just to get you started. There's tons of ways to diversify and offer complementary services, products.
Yeah, you named it earlier. It's branding, right? It's branding the modality. It's branding the system. It's branding the reason why you need us. What we failed in, I think, as an industry is that as a whole, we're too spread out. We're too, what is massage? Is it spa? Is it clinical? Is it this? Is it that? Is it stretching? What is it? We haven't put it out there enough for the general public to go, well, I need this. I need this because I have this. I think some of us do it on a very small scale, but on a nationwide scale, it's still an argument. It's still like, hey, is this medically necessary? Yeah, of course it is. It is stress. Stress affects what, 80% of all disease?
Yeah.
We help people with stress. It's medically necessary, I would say. I mean, in that simple fact alone. And just the small amount of, not small, but I've been, got a pretty massive clientele, but in the sense of who I am and who I've worked on, it's a small amount compared to everywhere else. But, it's pretty remarkable what you can do when you just teach somebody to be a little more aware of their own stress that they hold on themselves, and how that dramatically changes all of their medical conditions. I mean, every therapist knows that who's talking to it, but we're not out there enough educating the public to demand this type of therapy.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. In my case, I don't know what it's like where you are. You'll have to tell me, how your practice is, how it's affected your local community. I think Austin, in my general area, the larger Austin area is like 1.6 million people. Most people in Austin, the vast majority of those, have no idea who I am.
Right.
They have no idea that the service I put out exists. They don't, and that's the thing. It's just me. Like, there's not a chain offering what I do.
Right.
And that's the whole thing. It's like there's a mass market saturation that happens just from having a podcast, producing video and putting it on YouTube and allowing a subscriber to find me from Lithuania.
Content.
People in Texas respect it more when people from LA are actually subscribing to my channel and communicating with me. So there was a big problem I had because, my work didn't really resemble massage. And my clients didn't say it wasn't effective, but they didn't know what do I tell people it is when I'm trying to refer them? Because it's not really, because if I tell them it's massage, they think it's table, cream, delight, and nudity, and that's not what you do. And then you started to churn through that brand sort of issue. And how do you deal with that? And the easiest way, other than branding, getting a trademark, doing those things, was to use my video camera. My clients were clothed, go directly to the public and say, listen, this is what I do. That was the easiest, most direct way without having the hassles. And then what happened was a very small number of that 1.6 million would come to me. And that's where my revenue stream came from.
I saw your video. It looks like something I need.
Yep.
Let me come in and check it out. Or how do I make an appointment with you?
Yep.
Same thing here. if you we're I always had an issue with marketing in the sense of I don't want to get a billboard or get some little um, half-page ad in a magazine for $400 a month because it doesn't you can't put enough words in there to show what you do as a therapist. You know, doesn't doesn't really portray as well.
This does.
That does.
Yeah,
Video does.
this is me running
Marketing.
around with this, screaming at the entire industry, and I'm like, okay, they'll get it later. Just
Yeah.
go, Robert, go.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. You're 100% right. I love it. I mean, I think I'm seeing a lot of the positive out of this. Don't get me wrong. There's no money coming in right now. I'm praying that I get these checks coming in and stimulus checks come in or some or not workman's unemployment. If that happens, hopefully, I filed for the $10,000 grant. Um, I haven't seen any of that stuff yet.
Yeah.
So money is running dry, but I've got a couple, like doing those. I'm not a marketing firm, but I am knowledgeable in the sense of on the side I was doing websites. I've got a couple. I'm charging like $300 for a simple website. That I can help somebody get on. And it's my way of helping. But it's just little money here and there. But it's not enough to sustain my family of 5. And all that stuff. So yeah, there's stress, but everybody's got it. So I just know that this will all pass, and I'm not worried. My office isn't going to close down. I'm going to be up and running faster and bigger than we probably ever were. And now I feel like I don't have to be so wrapped around that table. I can put a little more time away from the table and more dedicated to this. In case something like this happens again, I'm not going, damn, put all my eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
So that's obviously everybody who's probably watching this is saying the same damn thing. Oh, I need to start diversifying. I need these other streams coming in, and I have a lot to give. How do I share it?
Yeah.
If you want to know, I can help you get there. I can help therapists or anybody who wants to share their message and help them become a local expert. I'm working on doing that as well. Because it's a passion of mine, and it's a passion because I believe that's where our industry needs to go to make this. So when we start back up, we are essential. We are the first ones you call. I'm stressed. I haven't been worked on. I need to get worked on. And here's why: because we're going to help you get through this, and we're going to help you get through this in a much better way than you would if you were just going right back to your old routines. The entire country had a whole new reset. And a lot of them, there's still a lot of people working and stuff, but it gives them the time to kind of self look in. And that's what we're teaching a lot of our clients, is to teach them how to look in and reflect. And do they want to go back to their old habits, or do they want to start working on some new ones? And that's a pretty exciting time to be able to do that for somebody.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard in the middle of all of this, knowing that people are dying, to remain, an optimist,
Oh
to, think of it, oh, it's an opportunity. It's like, in no way do I want to minimize the harm, coming to the public in some ways. But at the same time, it's something that we're going to have to learn to deal with now.
Well, if you want to go back to work, you have to go back to work, and you should go back positive. And you are with a heart. People die every day, and we're not thinking, that's not something you're going back to work hopefully thinking about. Yes, there's tragedy. Yes, there's war. Yes, there's famine. That's not going to stop me from helping people who I can help or who want to help.
Yep.
You can't have, you have to understand it. You have to have empathy versus sympathy in those matters. Just like you're taught on how to help a client on the table is to have empathy versus sympathy. Basically we need to teach people to thrive instead of survive. And that's what I teach a lot on the table. Are you thriving through life? Are you as optimal as you possibly can be in life and in business and family? There's really only 3 things that we all are striving to achieve in life. And that's love, health, and wealth. Everything else is kind of in the cracks, right? You're loved by your neighbors, your family, health for yourself and your loved ones and your pets and so forth and so on. And wealth, not just in money, but in abundance and everything in life. Those three things, if you can get two of them. But once you get all three, it's time to take a deep breath and say you've made it and enjoy it and be present while they're there.
Yeah.
While you have health, wealth, and love, health, and wealth.
I've learned over time. I mean, I'm a good therapist and I love interacting with clients, but I'm at this stage much more of an educator. And I
Sure.
realized at a certain point that I loved education more because it was taking that healing art form and making it exponential, because I was helping all of the students' clients too. You were helping transform their practice. And that was why I continued to push online, because it was a long, arduous process to go from like workbooks to DVDs to online and go, I don't I don't think I can really teach online, can I? And then continue that process and go, oh, okay, yeah, you can't teach 100%, but could you teach 80% globally? That's a
Sure.
huge, just exponentially larger number than just working on one person at a time. And I'll always have that part of my practice which is hands-on working with people. But increasingly, what I do is take on my camera, document those sessions, and then I make those recordings available to students so they can, bootstrap to the level they feel comfortable with.
Sure, absolutely. And this is exactly what you just said is exactly the movement I've been working towards going to ever since you and I've ever talked a year or two ago, and it's kind of now helped me catapult into that, right, where it's been my main focus versus kind of a side thing I want to get into down the road. Now it's you know I, my heart is in educating, and in fact I see it more as in when I'm this has allowed me to go, well, what do I offer my clients besides hands? And it was really not my hands; it was the education of why I'm working in that particular area on this particular day for that particular issue, and educating them while doing it. Now you just take that part away of the physical touch and go, well, this is why this is issue with you, and where it's coming from and why your function's not working, why you're not working at optimal levels. Um, it really wasn't a hard change at all. And I'm excited to do it more often and make education a full-time thing. And hands-on is when I can choose to be hands-on when I want versus I have to be hands-on to pay the bills. So, um, yeah, I mean, it's a trying time, and I don't have all the answers, but I am definitely moving to them through them just like everybody else. And I'm excited to put this stuff online for people and help others get online. So,
Yeah.
that's the
Increasingly,
aspect.
what I had to do at a certain point was I stopped looking at other educators or massage therapists, and I started looking at other industries and how they were dealing with marketing, how they
Sure.
were dealing with outreach, packaging, branding. And I went,
Sure.
wow, this is so vastly different than the massage industry. Like they're looking at this, like say personal trainers or yoga teachers, they look at this completely differently than our industry. But
Hmm.
then I think our industry mostly is pretty fledgling. I mean, most states didn't start enacting licensure probably until sometime in the 80s, right?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that answer, but
So that's,
I know you're right on the marketing aspect.
yeah,
Um, and I think that's the biggest issue we do need in our industry. The thing is, right, like I'm a fan of Eric Dalton and James Zawoski in our industry, where I see them as gurus and innovators and educational phenomenal. They're like, to me, they're like rock stars. Like, oh, wow, I got to take that course with so and so. I got to shake so and so hand. But what's and I don't mean this in a bad way to them. I'm just saying overall, you can go take a weekend course with your favorite industry provider of CEUs and get paid X amount of dollars for 1,200, 2,400, 5,000, whatever, and learn this amazing modality that the entire planet should know how to do, but outside of our little bubble, that particular modality and that particular person that you idolize, nobody else knows. You don't have people going, hey, Robert, oh my God, I need this therapy. Can you provide this to me? Because it's so popular, because it's been marketed, it's been branded. There's not a lot of people knocking on the door because you can help them because you took this modality. What we've been talking about is marketing and branding. The general public, why is Stretch Zone so popular? Because they're marketing better than massages.
Yep.
They're branding it better than massage.
Yep.
It's the new best thing. If you're going to go pay, $1,200 for the weekend course to get certified by so-and-so, but no one's knocking at your door when you get there, yeah, you learned it, but you're just now better at your trade, and you still are in the same issue where nobody's knocking at the door just because you took this course. The problem is these courses aren't being marketed well enough that people in the general public go, man, I didn't know you can fix frozen shoulders or sciatic issues in 3 or 4 sessions. I thought I had to go see a physical therapist and go through that whole route. I didn't know you guys could help with that. I thought I just got this on my birthday.
When
therapists, you know what I'm saying? It's like the paradigm is what we're doing.
When therapists see,
and
they start arguing about regulation stuff and who can do it and who owns it and this and that. And I go, hold on, wait a second. Anyone in the United States can do massage. But to charge for it, you might need a license in your state.
Right.
Because I can teach people the same soft tissue stuff. I can teach John to work on Sarah online, live, interactively, globally. And they're not breaking any state laws. They're just not charging each other for it. That's where therapists get, I had somebody make the distinction. No, you can do massage, but you can't do massage therapy. And I go, whatever.
Wait a minute. So that's my point. What's the difference? That doesn't make any sense, right?
Semantics and lawyers.
Yeah. But that's what frustrates me is that when you say things like, oh, you can do massage or you can't do massage therapy. What that to me?
Well, the therapists want this mark of distinction, and I don't think that's where it comes from. I think fundamentally what happens is, let's say you and I, John. So we could try to fight to change people's consciousness about it. But I think what works better is just to continue doing what we're doing, continue to build, lift up the industry in our own way, collaborate in ways that are, beneficial, mutually beneficial to both of us. And then you just sort of light the way with your own actions and behaviors.
Sure.
What I think is most interesting is people act like if I teach people how to work on their own tricep using a tennis ball, working against a tennis ball, they think like we're going to lose clients. And I'm like, no, if I was a mechanic and I had a YouTube channel and I taught women, because women in particular don't know as much about cars, they're not trained in it as much. But I'm a mechanic and I start making YouTube tutorials specifically for women where I say, listen, I'm going to teach you about the basics of a car, basic car maintenance, because I don't want you to be taken advantage of when you go see mechanics. What's going to happen is if you keep teaching them bits and pieces about how to maintain their car, you're going to get more people bringing you their car because you're the expert.
That's right.
The market doesn't get smaller. The marketplace gets larger because people have education about what we do.
Right. Yeah, it's all based on the marketing of who you are and what makes you a local expert in what you do. It doesn't have to be what I do. It has to be what you want to bring your unique style of healing or therapy to the table and laser that marketing to those particular niches. That's it. And that's what we teach. That's what it's all about right there is you nailed it where we want to be that lighthouse for therapists that want to shine. We want to be that lighthouse in the dark going, hey, there's another way. It doesn't have to be this way always. There's other ways of looking at this. And it's innovative. It's got new platforms of technology to do it. And you can be 100% just the therapist, right? The system we're working on, is obviously like a providership type of therapy. But you can be a therapist that we market and then send you clients, right? You come take the course. You're now a provider of the system, right? And your system, your course, or your therapy, education, your higher education is now in your local area, and we're going to present it to the local area how you want us to do it, in the sense of either you're doing the videos or it's our stock videos of this therapy that's now you're the provider in your particular area, right? So what I was saying earlier, the marketing behind why you want to take this therapy, but then the demand of the public saying, who can I find that does this therapy? And they're knocking down your doors for it. Now, what therapists tend to do, what I see this lacking, is a therapist that want to step up and take that even further, versus just being hands-on, but being hands-on and the business aspect of it, and provide other providers and licensings and stuff like that, and take their niche and teach others on how to do it as well.
So many layers.
Huh?
So many layers. Yeah. There's just so
yeah,
many layers. I know that from the students I work with, who are primarily massage therapists, they want to learn technique. The thing that they're most hesitant to do is podcasting, business building, websites, social media, YouTube
putting
channels,
themselves out there.
SEO, blog posts. It's the business part. Yeah, they would much rather typically have somebody else take care of that. So when I would teach classes here locally in Austin, the therapist would take class and go, man, this is amazing. This work like saves my hands. It's like really effective.
Yeah.
And they're like, would you give me a job? And I'm like, huh? And they're like, would you open a place and like hire me? And I'm like, ooh, no. That's not what I'm trying to get you to go build your thing,
Yeah,
So,
but they don't, a lot of times they don't want that.
that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what I'm saying. There's layers. If you're not building this, think of those therapists, then, you got to kind of like, I've only known this because of how many therapists came through our practice, and they didn't want to advance into running their own office and have all that headache and stuff like that. In fact, it is a bunch of headache, but it's fun too. Once you learn the process of success, and build on top of that and learn from your mistakes, it can be very successful. And there's some therapists that are out there that have that entrepreneur mindset, and then there's those therapists that I just want to show up, work on people, and go home.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with either. I just encourage people to understand where they fit.
No, there's not. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and we want to create a platform for those therapists either way. They can come in, and if they just want to focus on the hands-on therapy, we can teach technical hands-on therapy, clinically, however else you want to word that, modalities. We can teach the modalities, and then market in that area they came from as the local expert from the branding, right? Or they can kind of like what we call white labeling it and take the system and run with their own. It's a really neat concept. It's not just mine. That's what's going on in physical therapy. It's what's going on in chiropractic. And not that I'm kind of, I'm tweaking it for our industry.
Yeah. So, John, I think we're getting close to finishing up here. Can you give people some information about where they can contact you, either your social media shares or your website?
I'm at thefixtherapy.com. You can message me at john@thefixtherapy.com. Is my email. I'm sure Robert's going to put a little link on how to get a hold of me. But yeah, fixtherapy.com. john@thefixtherapy.com. You can message me, and I'd love to help mentor, anybody through this particular crisis, if it's for life coaching one-on-one, group settings, or if you're looking to take yourself, your business, your content online, I can help you with that as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
And again, I'm Robert Gardner Wellness with the Robert Gardner Wellness Podcast. I'm really happy to have John Adams on the show with us today. If you want to pick up anything from me, we have workbooks, DVDs, a subscription service. The subscription service is completely free for your first month. There are 500 plus hours of my video instructional content from class trainings, group trainings, and private trainings available there. You can find all of that at robertgardnerwellness.com in the store. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I look forward to having John back on the program again soon. Thank
Yeah,
you so much for tuning in, John.